K-pop is kind of bad for culture, and you're part of it.
It's like a little fetish. It's like a little twink gay fetish about these K-pop boys.
These K-pop boys.
Regardless if you listen to K-pop or not, this impacts you. K-pop is no longer the cherry on top for pop culture. It is pop culture. And no, this is not a pleasant surprise or accident.
지금 이 자리에 계신 여러분들은 모두 감당할 수 없는 빚을 지고 삶의 벼랑 끝에 서 계신 분들입니다.
The American Music Award goes to
Beyond just the messed up beauty standards, pick-me culture, scammy commercialization of natural beauty into skincare and beauty products, this is part 2 of the discussion, diving more into the exploitation of fetishization and Orientalism from the producer and consumer angle, as well as the cultish fan and anti-fan culture.
I don't watch TV. Like, no one cares. You don't get an award because you watch less TV.
Becoming cultured. K-pop, if anything, is a genius engine of marketing. Marketing for what, you may ask? Well, many things. Unrealistic beauty standards, unrealistic weight standards, the growing K-beauty industry, and of course, quote-unquote, culture. On one hand, globalization is the inevitable outcome of the internet era and allowed not only more acceptance toward diversity, but also gave possibility to the emergence of a new wave of pop culture and ideas.
Tell me your story. I want to hear your voice. I want to hear your conviction. No matter who you are, where you're from, your skin color, your gender identity, just speak yourself.
But K-pop isn't necessarily only the goodwill to celebrate Asian or Korean culture. In fact, it has been intentionally crafted to target the Western market, a product that makes fetishizing Orientalism so comfortable and normal, a product that monetizes on a made-up culture that is catered to the colonial mindset that manipulates those exposed to it to think this must be culture. Before we talk about culture export, let's talk about a special group of people. To demonstrate their unique attitude and behaviors, let me just share a few of the encounters I've had in the past. Oh my god, hi, nice to meet you. You're so pretty. Are you Korean? Oh, you're not? Omo, the barista over there thought I was Korean and said hi to me in Korean. That is right. Before we dive into Orientalism, we need to first observe an interesting group called 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝘥. This term entered the Urban Dictionary lexicon around 7 years ago and is defined as someone who is obsessed with Korean culture so much they denounce their own culture and call themselves Korean.
Yeah, 화이팅!
They usually are K-pop fanatics.
저는 K-pop lover 2000입니다.
Not fans or fans of League of Legends or other competitive games popular in South Korea. There is, however, a line. Simply liking the music, language, and culture does not classify you as a 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝘥. This is a type of obsession that beyond reason puts Korean culture above all else and describes someone who genuinely believes that they are Korean or wishes they were Korean. They dress in a way that imitates K-pop idols or K-drama styles, slide in Korean phrases with aegyo, and some even go as far as making their eyes into monoliths using quote-unquote non-toxic glue. You guys all know how much I love avocados, where I always have like 20 in my fridge. No, this is no longer Whole Foods. This is my own fridge drawer. Yes. But imagine if I become so obsessed to the point that I start talking and dressing like one. Yeah. Obviously, 𝘬𝘪𝘯𝘥 is the product of influence of not just K-pop, but also K-drama, Korean esports, and so on. But this parallels a distorted obsession toward the K-pop idols we see in the industry. The simple code of conduct is anything the idol does is good and justified. In plain terms, Korean is good. Anything that questions the golden rule is deemed unacceptable. How it came to this level of fanaticism is not a mere coincidence, and thus we need to talk about Orientalism. Orientalism is the representation of Asia in a stereotyped way that is regarded as embodying a colonialist attitude. It involves a stereotyped colonialist vision of Asian cultures, and is not just a trendy buzzword, but a framework that grew out of bloody histories of colonialism, capitalism, and domination. It's simultaneously timely and timeless. From the colonial mindset, the East or Oriental is mysterious, sensational, and quote-unquote Oriental traits, especially of women of color, become sexualized and fetishized. But what is K-pop's role in all of this? Whether intentionally or unintentionally, K-pop is a product that is a feast of the visual and audio senses. It feeds off the hunger of the colonialist mindset to consume something exotic, mysterious, so it blends in elements of the East and West so that everything seems to be a thrilling, new experience, yet not too foreign to be alarming. The music includes or emulates popular beats in Western pop. The couture has dashes of traditional wardrobe, yet strikingly caught up with the newest street styles. The hair, the makeup, even the subtle plastic surgeries suggest an ambiguous mix, a look that appeals to the Eurocentric aesthetic, yet having obvious accents of the East. Now, appealing to the Western gaze is not a bad thing on its own, for Western media influences dominate popular culture in Asia as well as globally. And if something has artistic or aesthetic value, why not appreciate through learning it? The issue arises when we look at tragedies such as the 2021 Atlanta shooting. Robert Aaron Long, the white 21-year-old gunman charged with the killing of 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian women, told the police that he had a sex addiction and that the spas were a temptation he wanted to eliminate. Many found the quote-unquote rationale both racist and misogynistic, that revealed the stereotyped hypersexual and docile trope of Asian women. These attitudes belong to an entrenched Orientalist infrastructure in the US that connects yoga, meditation, and massage to tourism, pleasure, and escape. A long history of fetishizing and sexualizing Asian women against Orientalist fantasies. Is it K-pop's fault that such fetishization and ingrained stereotypes exist? Not at all. But is it cashing out on this obsession? Arguably so. And before you get mad at me, the same goes for the hypersexualization of females in the Western music industry as well. But unlike the Western music industry, the fan culture of K-pop gets much more personal. Fan culture or stan culture. I get it, we've all been more or less a little crazy for someone we idolize, whether it being a K-pop idol or not. With the ease of social media today, aside from actual idols, we even build a parasocial relationship with our favorite influencers and feel like we really know them as a close one. For example, me somehow knowing that Emma Chamberlain loves to wear granny panties as revealed in one of her podcasts. All the same, but even to a more extreme extent for celebrities, especially K-pop idols, from where they were born, where they grew up, who they grew up with, to their go-to lunch, what last night's nightmare was, and how long it took their dog to get a haircut this afternoon. Information that usually those in our close circles would know. A parasocial relationship is a one-sided relationship formed when one party extends energy, interest, and time, and the other person doesn't know they exist. The term was first used in an article from 1956 when researchers noted new relationships forming between audiences and stars of news programs, television, and movies. It involves a level of commitment to a public figure where you begin to view the celebrity as a friend or confidant, what marriage and family therapists call a one-sided intimacy. The person involved in being committed is often so emotionally invested that they celebrate the highs of their persons of interest and feel bummed when they are struggling. Now, forming parasocial relationships does not mean you are a psychomaniac. With the ease of access to the private life and vulnerable side to many public figures today, developing a parasocial bond with someone is actually common and normal. In fact, parasocial relationships could be healthy in some cases. It could provide a safe space for those who feel uncomfortable in social situations. It could even aid in identity development by serving as role models we look up to. But more often than not, in the case of K-pop fandom, The parasocial relationship leads to an unhealthy and often an obsessive one. An unhealthy parasocial relationship could take the following forms: prioritizing these relationships over real ones, not engaging in the real world, and feeling lonely or isolated, feeling tethered to this person's opinions and losing your own. And of course, as most K-pop fans do, putting their idols on the highest possible pedestal, where everything and anything their idols do must be correct. And any judgment or critique that might actually help their idols are taken to the most personal degree. This was actually experienced by me firsthand. I made a video earlier this year commenting on Blackpink as a commercial product of YG. Note, not the actual idols. Also note, I comment on whatever I think is interesting in popular culture, and Blackpink and K-pop are in fact now mainstream popular culture. It's not personal, and their fans blew up. I literally thought they'd come and burn my building down. Guess that will just add to the LA sirens. No, I do not think it was a perfect video, and there were definitely areas I could have improved on. But it got personal really quickly, with my TikTok taken down, incessant hate comments across all my social and all my friends' social, okay? It was scary. It almost felt like I offended everyone and anyone from their mother to their 18th grandma's grave. And I almost felt bad for those fans, because not only are they embarrassing their idols, but they're also squandering hours and hours writing hate messages to me for practically strangers who would never know their existence. And that's the power of parasocial relationships. On the flip side, there is another weird phenomenon in K-pop, one just as toxic and scary: the anti-fan culture. Anti-fan, just as toxic.
I hate K-pop. I don't get BTS.
K-pop?
They look like they're just a bunch of... How did this become a thing in Western culture?
An anti-fan, or hater, is someone who enjoys writing, discussing, or in some cases making their derivative works about a piece of media, but solely for the purpose of railing against it. Anti-fandom appear in many forms, such as hate watching, leaving nasty comments, to sometimes even murder attempts. Yeah, I'm just as shocked. A-Pink has been threatened with phone calls that explosives have been planted at their destination. TVXQ's Youngho drank an orange juice from a staff member, but it turned out that drink had super glue that caused him to vomit and cough up blood before fainting in the middle of a performance. Girls' Generation's Taehyung was literally grabbed and pulled away by a random man. It is wild how people will go above and beyond measures to harm someone they really don't know. I'm sorry, but just because you see someone on your TV and social media does not mean you know them. But why? Do people spend so much energy and time just hating someone who is completely out of their actual tangent life? Well, there are many potential reasons that lead to an anti-fan, such as battle of the fandoms. One of their favorite group is quote-unquote put in competition with another group by the public, and you gotta be loyal by hating on the others. Jealousy. A parasocial relationship made it seem like the idols are real-life competitors, overly obsessive craving for attention. If hate gets the attention of their idols, they might just try it. A scandal, or just the mere shatter of the idealized image. The idol falls from the pedestal when the fan realizes that their prior perception is flawed or inaccurate. Feeling resentment, they turn all their previous obsessive energy into obsessively hateful energy.
You trying to laugh? This funny?
All in all, whatever the motivator is, it just makes this dark side of K-pop more dangerous and toxic, where it's no longer just a simple industry on sharing music for people of similar interests, being a form of expression and spreading the newest fashion in pop culture, but an emotional roller coaster for many fans and anti-fans who are too deep into the cult-like parasocial spider web. And when that pixie dust shining illusion is ever shattered, where the reason to smile today is because your idol posted a smiling selfie. The reason to celebrate is because your favorite idol gained another million followers on Instagram. The reason to cry is because your idol's dog twisted its ankle. Often, when your idol starts dating or has an enormous scandal, that's when you realize that they neither belong to you or were the godly saints who never burp or sweat. That will lead to a moment of crisis. An existential one. And it is unfair to the idols who constantly need to live up to these unrealistic standards, more like a curse. So yes, K-pop in the sense of the cult-like fandom as well as appealing to the fetishization of Orientalism is bad for culture, in my view. But like how nothing is black and white, I do like how it is adding diversity in the music industry, making more people aware and accepting of Asian culture, and being a positive, motivating influence to some young people. So comment if you think K-pop is a good influence on popular culture. And if you like the discussion, be sure to watch these two video essays after.